Ugh, get a stretch in quickly before we go through this. Right then, let's go through my two losses today. I am a little bit pissed off about this one because I was correct. I was correct initially and I didn't change my bias. And the move just happened an hour later. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's have a look. So today I lost two trades, both long. Let me just check how many pips it was. Let's see. So we got 148 pips. Oh no, that's pounds. 116 plus 74. Go on, you do the maths. We're only kidding. It's 190. So we lost 190 pips today. My bias was correct. And yeah, it's just a bit of a shame. So if we zoom out onto the 4-hour chart, right, so firstly, I'm still bullish going into the day. I have been bullish. First target that I had lined up, obviously this high, which I have mentioned multiple times. I've been saying that we're going to go and get this high. It's going to get taken. It's happening. Underneath that, we had this high here formed on Friday. What does that look like on the hourly? There you go. Yeah. So I've lined that up pretty trash, to be honest. So let me just sort that out. But yeah, so those are my two long-term targets. Not necessarily long-term, just like intraday targets. As you can see, we have now taken that first one. We had unemployment claims news at 1:30 today. So that would have been 8:30 a.m. in New York. And then Trump was speaking at 3 o'clock. Which I hear he was delayed an hour or something. So yeah, when he did speak, as you can see, big fuck off dick of a candle, which is a little bit frustrating if you ask me. But at the same time, it is what it is. So what can we take away from the day? Right, so yesterday, so when I was, well, actually, let's just go into the idea behind the trade. So I was looking at the previous days and, you know, what was happening when price was trading up above opening price. Was I still getting my setup forming around the AM session, around similar times, based off the fact that we're in a higher time frame bullish model? The answer was yes. I was comfortable with this, and so the first zone of liquidity was not zone of liquidity. My first point of interest was this 30-minute order block before this push up going into the start of Thursday. You can see we trade up over opening price from the London session. We don't quite clear this wick, but we do take, you know, some of the highs out there. If we look at the hourly, yeah, so we create some nice relative equal highs from here, and the wick of this candle here, with this one still intact. Going into the AM session, I was very patient with this one. I knew that it wasn't going to form, you know, in the first 5-10 minutes. I knew it wasn't going to happen. So I was just keeping my wits about me. Looking at this, I was like, right, so we got a low here. We got this 30-minute order block. And also on the NASDAQ, I think we got an SMT. I don't know. I was just looking at where the potential sweeps would be, and as you can tell, this was a sweep, and then it just continued to manipulate further and just sweep 3 times before actually making that move up, which I was looking for. So in a sense, it's kind of similar to the previous losses I took last week. except I didn't get caught out by the move down, and just got price just manipulated again, basically. So one thing to point out is a learning point to take away. Price taps it, there's still a chance that it can come back down and go further in. I suppose it only wicked into the fair value gap there, whereas this time, or on the second time, it wicks all the way in. You can see if you go across this, it taps this candle. That lines up perfectly with the wick of that candle on the AM session, and then we eventually see a move take place. I'm going to go into the lower time frame just to see what we actually get here. So, right, the first move, you know, I had this in mind. We'd come down, trade it back up, come down. We created a fair value gap here. I think it was on the 3 minute. Pretty sure it was on the 3 minute. Yes, so 1, 2, 3 candles, fair value gap comes in. I'm not gonna lie about this. I missed that fair value gap, and when I was looking at my entry, I was thinking this was the breaker structure, and we are heading up. Break even would have been at this high. Trade up into that that fair value gap here on the hourly time frame. So that was the first target, and you can see 2.3 risk to reward that would have been. In terms of the actual entry, what were we getting up to? Let's have a look then. So I'm just going to remove this for now. Get that out. I was just as a reminder. So we get into the nitty gritty of this move here. So we trade down into this order block, come up, trade down again. I'm thinking, you know, we've taken that. We've now also taken this, and then price comes up. I was looking at the close of this candle here to be my break of structure, and we got this candle here, and then the retracement back into the fair value gap. Well, at the time, the fair value gap to go long and target up there. Obviously, my oversight was that there was an imbalance here, and price had been moving slightly bearish for the day. You know, it's Thursday. Sometimes you get the Thursday reversal, but you know, as I was watching this trade, we did run into a bit of profit, inversed here, and then I was, you know, I kind of had the feeling in my head that price was just going to continue lower, and I just got it wrong. But you know, I still knew higher time frame that we are bullish. I know that we're bullish. So price is going to come up at some point. Just when, you know, we can see, we can find out. So I stayed in this trade. I think I ended up closing it a little bit early. Like, my stop was initially just below the order block, so I had a bit of room. And then as I've seen it, you know, just disrespect this inverse fair value gap here. You know, I was thinking, right, okay, let's get out of this a tiny bit early. So shortened my stop and just I closed out. So where that stop shows, that is where I did actually close out instead of down here. So I think that loss was yeah, so that was the 74 pip loss. We took out £88 on that. So you know, it's not massive, you know what I mean? It's not too bad. Like, £88 is pretty sound loss. If I do units, I think it was, what was I going for? Let's say 20. No, it was 16, 13, 14. All right. Yeah, so it was around this sort of range. Obviously, my entry isn't bang on with the marker for the long entry. And yeah, so we were looking at roughly, you know, 80-90 pounds for 210 pounds profit, risk 2%, which is fine. That's a nice move. But yeah, unfortunately, that was a little bit too early. Another reason why I took this at the time was because of the fact that it was 10 o'clock. We're literally coming up to 10 o'clock. So I was thinking, right, as we've seen in the last few days, this could be the move up. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So the next move, I took a little bit of a break. So as you can see, the next entry didn't come until, you know, 10:30, around that sort of time. So that's a good like half an hour wait in between well, just to see what price was doing. And yeah, so I drew out this fair value gap here. You can see it's on the 15-minute. I think it's also on the hourly. Yeah, so the 15-minute and the hourly are aligned there. And yeah, so this was the next zone. I was thinking, right, so if we're not going to stop at this order block, we've got to come down here. Price trades in there at 10:30, or no, at around 10:10, that sort of time. We see a nice little push up above the order block, just gradually firming it, you know. And then from this, I think it was on the 3-minute I was looking at. Yeah, so after we cleared this high, and we'd already come down, I was thinking, right, this has got to be the final manipulation bit here, and then this is the actual move. So my entry came from it was this little accumulation in the fair value gap. I was thinking, right, now's the time to get in. We'll target the same spot, same area, and you know, if price allows us, I'll keep some runners going, and you know, we'll try and take out these highs up here, this one here, and then eventually obviously this line up here, which is the higher time, the hourly buy side that I mentioned before. So this trade was 1.81 R, and then what, 312. So yeah, initially my stop was a bit tighter, admittedly. So where was my stop at? If it just lets me, just move that. So yeah, my stop was just below that wick there. So I'll just move this. Oh, this thing is too tall here. Yeah, so it was just below this fair value gap, so it would have been £69, £70 for, you know, 175. That would have just shy double my money, or like made my money back and then the same amount over again, just short of that. Unless I think it was more like 17 units or 16. Yeah, that looks more about right. So it was a £92 stop for £234 profit. So same risk again. But price did not have that in mind, unfortunately. So what happened was we traded above 1, 2, 3 highs, order block. Is that an order block or breaker? Yeah, we had an order block here. Price trades up into that, taps it, comes back down again. Disrespected this fair value gap, sort of just accumulated in it and just continued down. At this point, I did have the idea where it was like, okay, we could be in a bearish day, and my bias is wrong. Short term, maybe just for the session. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I just got it wrong today. Like, you know, where I'm usually expecting my setup to take place around 10 o'clock, or, you know, just a little bit later. I was thinking, like, now it's 10:30, maybe it's going to happen now. But yeah, from there, after that loss of £147, so I think I'd extended my stop a little bit at this point to this. So obviously, if you can imagine, I was on the same risk, but just the stop extended. So that was a £147 loss there for 116 pips. So at this point, I'm thinking, you know, shit, man, I'm on a bit of a losing streak here. I've got 6 losing trades in a row, all of them being when I've traded twice in the same day. So I've called it at this point. I've stepped away from the charts, and yeah, I've left it there. What happened was after that. So as I mentioned, Trump was speaking, and you can see here, you know, price comes further down, fills in this fair value gap a bit more, and sweeps the body of the candle under this wick here. And yeah, so what sorry, just going back to the other trades. Basically, both my trades were trading up into fair value gaps, you know, with a tiny bit of bullish structure, bearish structure even, which is where I went wrong. Whereas this, I haven't actually had a proper look at this move up. So if we get into this, drag this across here a second. Right, so, you know, we got not really anywhere to get in there. You know, we feel this imbalance, push up again. So at this point here, this would be the break of structure. So look, for me, if I was looking at it at this time, so just mark that up. Notice how we didn't take this low. So did we get SMT on NASDAQ? No. So neither of them took the low and then pushed up. So I guess, you know, you could look at this as a break of structure here. But after all this bearish movement, I would be, you know, looking for price to break the higher swing. You know what I mean? So at this point, what have we got? We got 1 minute, 1, 2, 3. Trade that down into that. You know, 3 minute. I'm debating investing into TradingView Premium just so I can get more time frames to get a bit clearer entry. So yeah, you got your breaker structure here. Your entry would either be on this wick or, you know, after you trade up and then on this wick to then go long. Stop would be below here. So if we did that, let's just say we take the less riskier entry. We just stop here. Where would we be targeting at this point? Targeting at this point. So we would be looking at, you know, target 1 to 1, 1.6, 1.74. So yeah, admittedly, I suppose you could take this. This would be the ideal entry here, down here. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you're looking at that. Price has already come down multiple times. There's a wick here. You're trading up into this imbalance. It's already been filled, granted. But after taking 2 losses in the same day, am I going to be comfortable taking that? Probably not, because if I take another loss in the same day, 3 losses in a row, I definitely feel like there's a higher chance of me then spiraling after that point. And also, I only take 2 trades in a day. If I lose the 2 trades, so be it. That's the rule for me. Yeah, so you could either take this one. This is a bit more of an aggressive entry right off the breaker structure. You could take this one. Price trades back down. Or you could take This one off the retracement from the fair value gap, just in here in the wick, and then yeah, targeting that hourly buy side. And if you're holding for a longer time, this up here, the daily, I think it's the daily, yes, or the 4 hour, I think. Oh no, the daily buy side, yeah. So as you can see, we're basically looking at the exact same setup forming on the lower time frame within the higher time frame as it's happening. So this is quite interesting for me to look at in terms of what I'm looking for and why it's happening at that time. Do you know what I mean? Obviously with price being fractal, all setups occur on every time frame. They just take longer or less time to do so. But yeah, it is what it is. Got a public holiday in Jersey tomorrow, so I'll be able to give my full attention to the charts. So hopefully we can get a nice session for the end of the week to at least recover some of these losses. As you know, 6 losses in a row doesn't look the best, but I'm not giving up, and yeah, it is what it is today. I didn't break my rules. I executed as I should have done, so I can't be upset about it. And risk management again was in play, so you know, I can take around 50 losses in a row. Is that right? I believe so. Wait, hold on. Yeah, 50 losses in a row at 2% before I blow the account. So, do you know what I mean? We're fine. We just got to keep at it, keep disciplined, keep focused, and yeah. So, bit of a breakdown of the whole move and the trades today. 2 trades. In terms of what I'm looking for tomorrow, what are we looking for tomorrow? So if we look at the weekly profile, you know, we've come up and then down, midweek, create the low midweek, come up on Thursday, retrace on Thursday. So, you know, tomorrow I would be anticipating that we come up possibly quite early in the day, and then just look to consolidate in the PM session at being at the end of the week. You know what I mean? Unless we come down and then, you know, sort of trade around here, and yeah, I don't know. I'm quite bullish for tomorrow still. Overall, like when price is looking like this on the daily chart, it's hard, or it's a bit more difficult to be bearish because you can see how bullish price is. On the weekly, actually, hold on. Yeah, so this is the gap that I'm aiming for. I'm going to mark that out unless it already has been. So I'm just going to change the color of this fair value gap, because that is going to be my weekly time frame target. We're going to make that green. No, gonna make that red. Filling it. Okay. So I think what I'm gonna do after we hit this marker here is I'm gonna take all my drawings off the chart. I'm gonna reset the chart. I'm gonna sort out my colors, just completely bring a new vibe to it. Just because I'm getting kind of tired of the grey and black. I use like a navy background with black and white candles on my phone with like white outlines. It just seems a lot easier to spot little imbalances and stuff where sometimes you don't quite clock it on this color. But yeah, until then, have a quick check of the news tomorrow. Actually, why not? So we've got some FOMC members speaking. Canadian unemployment rate. Yeah, so looking to get a nice little session in tomorrow. And yeah, all that being said, bit of a longer video today, but can't go wrong with that really. Understood where I've made the mistake, and yeah, it's margins. We can make it back. All good. Yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow for a weekly review.